BBC Hooniverse.
You're watching the TGM production.
Hello and welcome to a brand new film. Today we're talking all things Time War. Now the Time War is something that's quite confusing to an overall Who sense, because if you look at classic Who, not really any mention of the Time War. It doesn't seem like there's been a Time War. Nothing seems to affect it because the Time Lords are there. There's no worry about it, but if you look at New Who, it's heavily mentioned quite a while that the Doctor fled Gallifrey because of a Time War. And my question is, William Hartnell, Patrick Troughton, John Pertwee, Colin Baker, Tom Baker, Sylvester McCoy, right? I know I've said them in the wrong order. I know Paul McGann. I know I've missed one out somewhere. But the point is that William Hartnell, no mention of the Time Lords. Patrick Troughton, yes, we meet the Time Lords, I think for the first time in his run as the Doctor. And then John Pertwee's been exiled to Earth by the Time Lords. Tom Baker has an interaction with the Time Lords. Peter Davison has, I think he might have something with the Time Lords. Colin Baker, yeah. Sylvester McCoy. Now, Paul McGann, he then regenerates into the War Doctor, who's then heavily involved in the Time War, even though the Doctor says he ran away from Gallifrey when he was younger, and all the imagery that they use to sort of explain that is having a mock-up of William Hartnell from a scene from William Hartnell's run, where he turned around, and there it is. He's running away into his TARDIS thing. But then that makes no sense, because if there's a massive war on your planet, surely in Classica they want to mention, like, if you watched, I'm trying to think of a sci-fi franchise that I've actually seen that I know about it. If you watch Stargate, let's say, there was a massive war in Stargate, the earlier Stargate shows would have explained about that so that it could be referenced in the latest Stargate stuff. You know what I mean? So it sort of just makes no sense to me. It makes no sense that you wouldn't actually ever mention the fact that there was a Time War. I wait until New Who was like, I'm the last of the Time Lords. Well, you weren't the last time I looked. If I look at the history of Doctor Who, there are about 18 different Time Lords, right? The Master, not really the last Time Lords, are you? No. I'm the last of the Time Lords. Who's that over there? It's the Master. He's a Time Lord. Oh, okay. I'm not the last of the Time Lords, then, am I? No. Who's that? Oh, well. He's another Time Lord. What? Yeah. Who's that? Oh, he's another Time Lord. It's like classic Who never went, I'm the last of the Time Lords. Because clearly he wasn't. That's the only issue I've got with New Who, really. In a big sense, is I'm the last of the Time Lords. I'm last of my human race. Well, no, you're not, because in Peter Capaldi's era, Time Lords rock up. In David Tennant's own era, Time Lords rock up. They're frozen. They're not dead. So you're not the last of the Time Lords at all. And so New Who never mentions the Time War. Why? Not to my knowledge, anyway. I just want to caveat that. Big Finish might have tried to fix it with their Time War stuff. Might have tried to give it a go, going, right, it's a good concept here, Mr. Russell, but we're going to have to fix it now for Classic Who. So, you've done us a little bit dirty there. Thank you very much. Not happy about that whatsoever. So get on the naughty step. Go that way. Evil. No, naughty. And you're like, what? If you could have do something like that, it's like, I don't know, Paul McGann being half human. Yeah. That was a plot point that started in the TV film and ended in the TV film. Right? We know that if you try and change the plot, you're not going to work. So the Time War is a New Who invention that doesn't make sense to the rest of Classic Who, right? You don't see William Hartnell going, oh, I'm the last of the Time Lords. No, you're not. Susan's there. Now, apparently Susan's growing old and not really regenerating, so there isn't 50 different actors that played Susan. So I don't understand. I don't know if Susan is a Time Lord or not, because technically she's not ever regenerated. I would have thought by now the actor playing Susan for them wouldn't have been Carol Ann Ford, because Susan should be able to regenerate. So, how does that work? But again, you can't blame Time War for that. That's the fact that at that time there was no such thing as regeneration, and it was only towards the end of William Hartnell's run, and they couldn't then go back and go, Susan was a Time Lord as well. They couldn't go back on that. So, technically, wasn't a thing then. So, as we draw close to this, yes, the Time War's a New Who thing. Yes, there's a lot of flaws in the Time War, but it was a good story, and I do really like the 50th anniversary exploring that. So, there we have it. It's the Time War! Or some people say, the Time Warp. There to the Time Warp again! Yeah, that's the Hillywood show. It's a woman called Hilly, I think. She's got a name that works really well when you try and alter the word Hollywood. But it was a very good parody. Let's do the Time Warp again! And I jump to the left, and I step to the right. Put your hand on your hips. I don't want to live in time. It's very funny. Anyway, that's irrelevant to the Time War. But we leave it there. Thank you for watching. Thank you for enduring and enjoying and all those other words. Bye-bye.
Don't forget to subscribe to the official Tom Mason YouTube channel.